Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to Roma Theory, a football lesson, not just a simple win, a football lesson to De Zerbi. The media said it was De Zerbi who was supposed to teach football to De Rossi. De Rossi put four up his ass, a football lesson, because this is unreal. I mean, as you can read from today's title, Roma right now, in this exact moment of time, is inexplicable. I have tried to gather up words over the course of these past weeks, over the course of these past match reactions. You've seen how enthusiastic I am about this moment, and I have tried to gather up and explain how we're playing like this, why we are playing like this. And I am lost for words because Roma right now, it's inexplicable. It's inexplicable. I am the first one to say that we've done nothing. We have done nothing because, number one, we've done nothing. De Rossi came in 50 days ago and he's going to stay here in the long term. Because if these are the results, how do you not confirm him? So this is just the beginning. We've done nothing yet. And this is what De Rossi is trying to emphasize in every single press conference, in every single interview. Every time he has the chance to say this, he speaks to the players and says, keep your feet on the ground, keep your head down, because you've done nothing. And second of all, because we've got a second leg. And, you're probably going, well, we won 4-0. Why would we even worry about that second leg? And look, you are right. We do have one leg in the quarterfinals of the Europa League. We do have one leg. We can't say that Brighton are the favourites anymore because we have outclassed them in 90 minutes yesterday. We do have one foot inside the quarterfinals, but we don't have the second foot. Football is very unpredictable. Barcelona know something about this in 2018. PSG know something about this. Yes, I know Brighton are not PSG. I know Brighton aren't Barcelona. But this game is, it's called a beautiful game because it's unpredictable. And yes, I'd give it a 90% chance we go through. But there's 10% that's always there in the sky. You never know. You just never know with football. So anybody who thinks we're off into the quarterfinals, you're wrong. Because Brighton aren't an amazing team, but they're a team which can score goals. And that's why we do have one leg in it. We don't have two legs in it. And we need to remain with their feet on the floor. I've got so much to say in this match reaction. The first thing I want to say is, I'm going to go wild. 200 likes in this video. Because the team, the manager, and us fans, this community, you know what? We deserve this. Cheers to all of us. To show your support on such a good moment. I want 200 likes in this match reaction. And I'm not even crazy. So with that being said, I, first of all, need to start by speaking about Brighton. I think the number one thing that I will say, if there are any Brighton fans watching this, is I respect Brighton. You know me. I tend to respect everybody, apart from those 2, 3, 4 teams which I just can't stand. One of them is Lazio, one of them is Feyenoord, one of them is Juventus. The other teams, yes, of course, if you lose again, you're pissed. But I tend to respect everyone. I think Brighton is the definition of savior of football. In a generation of football where money is dominating everybody, Brighton have shown that you can try and compete with the big ones, qualify for Europe, even if your budget isn't big, even if your club isn't a big club. You just need to play good. You just need to have good and established tactics. And respect the De Zerbi, respect the Brighton fans coming to Rome, respect the Brighton themselves, because if there's one thing that we can all agree on about yesterday's game, is that it was a good game of football. And yes, part of this is because we absolutely dominated and outclassed them. But it's a good game of football, not because of what we see on that pitch in terms of passing, tactics, shooting, But I think it's also a game of football. I think the measures of a good game of football is also the atmosphere between the players, the ambience between the players, the time that gets wasted. And I think barely little time was wasted yesterday. Every single foul, Brighton players didn't protest. They got back up. And that I know is the Premier League philosophy, but respect, because yesterday's game was an enjoyable game. Yesterday's game was what I call a game of football. And I know if you're a Brighton fan watching this, you're a bit depressed because conceding 4 isn't always good. But I think you build. I think you build on this. I think Brighton have good offensive moves. The problem with Brighton, as we've seen yesterday, is their defense, and that's what I was saying in the match preview. You cannot call a genius a manager who in the last 3 games conceded an average of 15 goals. You just cannot call a manager a genius who in the last 3 games conceded 4 against, what was it? I mean, in the last month he conceded 4 against Luton, 3 against Fulham, 4 against... He's not a genius. De Zerbi is a good manager, but De Zerbi isn't a genius. If there's one genius between the two yesterday, it's De Rossi. It's not De Zerbi. And I know that De Rossi has better players. But with that being said, respect to Brighton. We've got a second leg to enjoy. And what a game. Now that I've spoken about Brighton and De Zerbi, the number one thing that a Roma fan needs to do right now is speak about our manager. Is speak about Daniele El Football De Rossi. Because, number one, I've been saying this since that game that we won against Verona in De Rossi's debut. To pick up a team, and to pick up a team with no managerial experience from Jose Mourinho, who is the most box office popular manager that the history of this game has ever seen. Imagine being a newly emerging manager and picking up his job and picking up a relationship between a manager and a fan base that this club has never seen in the past 22 years since we won that league title in 2001. There was never such unity. Imagine picking that up. Imagine inheriting Mourinho's throne. And number 3, which is the most important thing, imagine having 50 days to get this team out of the tempest and into paradise. Imagine not having a summer preseason, picking this team in the same day Mourinho got sacked, and only losing 1 game against the best team in Europe right now, winning all of them, almost qualifying to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. I mean, it's just incredible what De Rossi is doing. And the reason for this is very simple. If you've been a Roma fan, if you've been a Roma fan since De Rossi played, then you know De Rossi. Yes, the majority of us questioned his tactics, his managerial experience. But I think if you know De Rossi, number 1, you know that he's very intelligent. And number 2, you know that he's the biggest leader that football could have ever seen. In terms of the passion that he puts, in terms of the leadership of guiding these players, we know who De Rossi is. As Roma fans, we've been used to this when he was playing in that midfield. Now we are seeing this in that touchline. Because he understands us. He is one of us. And the thing with De Rossi is that he was basically born inside Trigoria. And that helps, because what helps here? Number 1, the fact that he's Roma fan, he's one of us. But the thing which helps a lot, and it is one of the reasons which you explain this, is that he is a guy who was born inside their training session. His father trained the Roma youth until a few years ago, and he always put incredible results with that team. He is somebody who grew up with leadership, managerial experience in his family. He knows what he is doing. And I can only imagine what this team can be with De Rossi, with a summer preseason in De Rossi's hands. It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible what this guy has done, because, it's not easy. It's not easy in such a fan base, around such a fan base, with such mediatic. It's just impossible to do what he has done. And And now, with that being said, the tactics yesterday, I mean, the preparation of yesterday's game was spot on every single front. The communication level that he is, the communication skills that he is adopting are one of the reasons why this team looks so confident. Because, you know, I've said this when Mourinho got sacked. One of the reasons why Mourinho, which costed Mourinho's sack, was the way he dealt with the media towards the players. That is what Mourinho is. So of course we expected that. Mourinho is somebody who never takes responsibility, not just at Roma, wherever he goes. He'll never say it's my fault. He will always say it's his fault, whether it's the referee. Followed this communication path, which was like, you are guilty. You are guilty. This team is full of shit players apart from Dybala. This team, it would be a miracle for me to get Champions League football with this team when only Dybala can play football. And Mancini is the only one who puts passion in that team. That is what Mourinho is. But that is something that Mourinho got completely wrong at this football team, because 2.5 years later, 80% of the team mutinied against him, prepared a mutiny against him and costed the sack. And you kind of expect this because, you know, imagine your car stop. Imagine your car stop being told week in and week out every time you lose a game that you're shit and the only good player in this team is Dybala. Then if your car stop, you go, well, you know what? Then fuck off. Go play with Dybala. It's normal. The communication levels that Mourinho followed were undoubtedly going to lead to a mutiny. That's the law of this game. And that's what Mourinho got wrong. De Rossi has understood that was the biggest problem that Mourinho brought at this team. And now, every time he has a microphone, what does he say? Every single time he says, me? Why are people congratulating me? This is a team of players that 99% of managers would dream about. You know, Chilik. Is it a coincidence that now all of a sudden Zvilor looks like prime Buffon? Chilik yesterday looked like prime Cafu. Paredes looks like Thanos from the Avengers. Spinazzola looks like Beep Beep from Looney Tunes. But Dybala looks like prime Totti. Is it a coincidence deep down? All the injuries, nobody's getting injured. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. It doesn't take a genius to understand that if you have a manager who believes in the players are going to perform. And that is what I will criticize under Mourinho. You need respect. Of course you need respect. The guy brought us to two finals. Of course you need respect. But with respect, if I can, because I think I can criticize one thing that Mourinho brought, which is not even the style, because the style that Mourinho operated at the end of the day brought us to 2 consecutive European finals. So every manager has their own style, but you cannot follow those communication skills to your players. You just can't. That was suicide for him, and that's what costed him the sack, because you just can't. You know, you can't. You can't lose a game and every time in front of the television crucify 11 of these players. You can't do that. You know, you can do that, but then you shouldn't be surprised if you get sacked, because mutiny is undoubtedly going to happen. And it's just the individual performances which make up the collective, which makes yesterday's game. I'm going to put my face in this. I'm going to put my face in this and say that I have been completely shut it up by Zeki Chilik yesterday. I'm going to put my face in this and be very honest and say that I've been completely done by Chilik. Because you know me, it'd be a lie for me to say that all of a sudden after yesterday's game I'm a fan of Chilik. No, that's not who I am. Because I'm an honest guy, and I'm gonna admit this. Until yesterday, I absolutely despised Chilik. But yesterday's performance has shown me that he, number one, is very inconsistent, but that if he has the confident boost from his manager, he can pull and he can be a very useful player. Chilik yesterday, I mean, put him next to Prime Cafu, you would find no differences. No differences. He is one of a man of the matches. I didn't put a poll of the manager of the man of the match because it would be impossible for me to choose one. Zvilor saved us, incredible saves, confidence from De Rossi. Chilik, incredible. Why? Confidence from De Rossi after that post-Monza game. Mancini and Dika. I mean, Mancini scored a goal, great defending skills, but Evan and Dika, from that Juventus game under Mourinho in Turin before New Year's, Ndika transformed. Winning the AFCON, I think, made him a 10 times better player. Because, and look, you want to hear my big statement? I said this in the fan forum yesterday. Listen to this, because I fully agree on what I'm saying here. Chilik, right now, is the most valuable player in our team. Chilik is the number one player in this team that if we sell, we would make the most money from. And that's not an exaggeration. It's not Dybala. Because if you sell Dybala, you're going to sell him for 20 million because of his age, because of his injury, and because of his fitness. If you sell Ndika at time of speaking, if you ask less than 50 million, you're a dickhead. Because Ndika right now is worth 50 million. Ndika right now is a beast. The confidence. Somebody said this yesterday. I can't remember where, but somebody said this. Ndika right now is the version of Smalling that we all wished for at the end of last season, at the beginning of this season. Ndika is playing incredibly well. He's a beast. He's the definition of a beast. Put him next to Mancini, that's what you call a defense. And Smalling coming off from the bench. Spinazzola revitalized, completely revitalized. Yes, he didn't have a perfect game yesterday, but he runs. Something that under Mourinho he didn't do. He runs. All of a sudden he's back sprinting. And he's not the same Spinazzola as Euro 2020. It'd be criminal to say that he's the same player. But, oh my lord, the improvements in some of these players. Paredes. I mean, moving chronologically, Paredes is the player who improved the most with Pellegrini. You know, Paredes. Have you seen that pass? That pass to Dybala is what Totti did with Batistuta in 2001. You know, the connection, the Argentinian duo, Paredes-Dybala, is working very well. And De Rossi changed Paredes' position in a sense that he wants Paredes to set up the play, to set the scenes, to distribute the ball. Because Paredes has got an incredible touch. You know, in terms of touch, in terms of setting the play, Paredes is better than Matic. Right now, I think we're very close of Paredes this season and Matic last season. At the start of the season, there was no comparison. But right now, they're very close. Another player who yesterday, in my opinion, has to be man of the match contenders, El Shaarawy. Yesterday's game was a sacrifice performance from El Shaarawy. Because he ran like Beep Beep from Looney Tunes. He provided assists. And he was that... And for a majority of the game, he also played as a defensive wing back. Running back and forward. Players slide tackling. Players putting their balls. Players fighting. Players being happy. Scoring an average of 3/4 goals in every single game. Give me the potion that De Rossi has used. Because, yeah... I mean, I am lost for words. I'm lost for words. Dybala, do we really need to speak about Dybala? I believe, maybe I'm wrong, but I read something along the lines of that he's scored like 10 goals in the last 11 games. Maybe I did make that up. But you know, it's... wow. And Lukaku also played well yesterday. The one thing I'm going to say this about Lukaku, because I listened to his post-match interview yesterday. Lukaku wants to stay here. You can tell Lukaku wants to stay here, but he's not going to say. He's not going to say it publicly because he's learned from his mistakes. I'm convinced. I am convinced of what I'm saying here. Lukaku wants to stay here. You know, Lukaku is tempted to... Of course, if we get Champions League, it would help this. But Lukaku wants to stay here. You know, yesterday he got asked the question, are you going to stay here this next season? And he started laughing. He wants to stay here, but he doesn't want to say so. And, you know, yeah, thank God you don't want to say so. Because if Lukaku says publicly that he wants to stay, and at the end of the season he doesn't stay, he's going to get completely harassed by the media for a third time. So Lukaku's learned from his mistakes, and he will never say in any club again that he publicly wants to stay. But he does. He wants to stay. He wants to. I'm convinced. And then those are individual performances. What I liked yesterday is us using Brighton as a tool to win the game, because Brighton are terrible defensively. I mean, we mentioned about this in the press conference, but they really are tremendously awful in defense. You cannot defend like that. I know that De Zerbi is an offensive manager, is a possession-based football manager, but you just cannot defend like that. You can't defend like that. I mean, maybe I'd sound crazy if I say this, but we could score another 4 goals at the Amex Stadium next Thursday, because their defense is atrocious. Do I think yesterday's game should have ended 4-0? No. I think the fair result would have been 3-1. I do think they deserved the goal, as Villar pulled some incredible saves, but I'm not complaining, because 4-0 is very different from 3-1. It means that they need 5 goals to go through, or 4 goals, 4-goal difference to go to extra time and then potential penalties. And with such confidence of this team right now, I just can't see it happen. I can't. I cannot see this happen. It's just Dybala's the official player of the month announced today. Deserved. This time it's deserved, because I'm speechless. I am speechless. It really does make me so curious of how De Rossi got this team playing like this in the space of 40 days. But you know what the most surprising thing is? It's the fact that in the space of 40 days, we've gone from shit to great. Because, Hani picked up this team at the end of the season, starting a new project, having the time, having the summer preseason, having a transfer window to demand the players from. Had he picked up this team from a good moment, from a good confidence, I would have been surprised, but I wouldn't have been that shocked. The interesting and shocking thing here is that we have gone from shit to great in the space of 40 days. 40 days ago, I was not confident on any single game. Any game. No game I thought that we were going to win. 40 days later, I think this current Roma team wins against every single team apart from Man City, Inter, Liverpool, Arsenal, Real Madrid, am I missing something big here? This Roma team right now maybe might not win every game, but this current Roma team can pull up a fight against any of these teams apart from the ones that I just named. I'm so confident. I'm confident on Sunday. I'm confident. It's a tough game on Sunday. It's not an easy game, but looking at the confidence, looking at how happy we all are, I think we're going to win again. I mean, I would never have predicted a Roma win in Florence. We never win in that ground. But how can you not predict a Roma win at time of speaking? It would be against the law. It would be illegal, because we're scoring an average of 4 goals every game. We're conceding an average of 1/2 goals every game. That means that if this pattern continues, we win on Sunday as well. It's not an easy game on Sunday. If we win on Sunday, I mean, De Rossi, I'm gonna get naked in front of you, because Fiorentina are also on a great confidential boost. Look at our game yesterday. Leverkusen is the other team that maybe we wouldn't beat right now. PSG is a team that, okay, maybe we might lose to, but we could pull a fight against. It's a game that if we lose 2-1. I'm very confident about this Roma team. Yes, the hype is big. And yes, it's wrong to be so hyped, because Roma is Roma. we could easily get back in the dark alley in the space of 2 months. And look, it's going to be normal. The problem here is exactly this. The problem here is the fact that we're playing so well and that the fans are so hyped means that whenever we hit another dark moment in the near future, we're gonna be also all very surprised. Dark moments are gonna come. We are Roma at the end of the day. We a lot of these players are very, very good at time of speaking, but a lot of them still have their limits. We are a team that is living an incredible moment, but we will have tough moments from now until the end of the season. We're not gonna win every single game. It's football, and it's very normal for it to happen. But what is different is that maybe I am saying this because I'm hyped, because my team won 8 games in the last 10, because De Rossi is implanting this new football ideology in the skin of these players. But in terms of how we play football, this is the best Roma team since that 2018 Champions League semi-final. In terms of how we play football, don't make up and invent this phrase and say that I'm disrespecting Mourinho. No, Mourinho is here. Mourinho brought me 2 finals. Yes, I love him. But in terms of football enthusiasm, in terms of enjoyment of football tactics, this is probably the best Roma team I've seen since 2018. In terms of how we play, because the players are the same. The players are the same in terms of how we play, I'm saying. So yeah, I think I've said everything. I have nothing to say. I've squeezed the lemon. I've said everything I had to say. I mean, I am, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. All of these editing, I love filming those stadium vlogs. I could do that for the rest of my life, and hopefully I am going to do that for the rest of my life. If it means staying up and going to bed at 3 a.m., I'm going to do it. I love filming videos. I love what I'm doing. I mean, I'm just loving life. I'm loving my team right now. I'm loving you guys. Tomorrow or Sunday, I still need to organize. But they've invited me to speak about Roma on an English YouTube channel. I mean, I've got one of you guys send me an Instagram DM asking if I can wish a happy birthday to your girlfriend. I mean, that is something that 3 years ago I would have gone, what the hell? Life is great. Life is great. Life is great. Life is great. Right now, life is great. And Roma is definitely helping with this. I don't understand why some people were scared coming into this game, especially against a team which has no European experience. I agree. You know what I'll say here? I will say something as an Italian, as a whole. This is Roma. This is a Roma fan channel. If you support Lazio, maybe this is not the place, but if you enjoy these videos, I respect you. But I'm going to say something on the behalf of every Roma team. I'm going to say this on the behalf of us, Lazio. I mean, not Lazio anymore because they've been thrown out. Napoli, Inter, Milan, who are in the Europa League, Atalanta, Fiorentina. I wish this to Bologna if they qualify for Europe next season. Don't get fooled by the fact that the Premier League is so hyped. Because yes, Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City would probably beat all of these Italian teams. But I can guarantee you that Inter, Roma at time of speaking, maybe Milan when they're good, and maybe Atalanta when they're good, could easily beat every single Premier League side apart from Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, and maybe Tottenham. But I think Inter beats Tottenham, and I think this Roma team right now beats Tottenham. It's just, don't get fooled by the fact that the Premier League is so hyped. Don't get fooled by it because, yes, the Premier League has an enormous attention, enormous audience. The Premier League is an enormous money circulation, which makes it the best league in the world. And I'm a big fan of the Premier League. I think there's a massive difference from Premier League games and Serie A games. But sometimes the disrespect of this country, the disrespect of the Serie A is big. I'd say that a lot of us fans, when we got that draw and we got Brighton, a lot of us were scared. And I was initially scared in a sense that I would have preferred other teams. But there is one thing that I said in that live draw when we got Brighton. If for one time, let them be scared of us. Forget about this myth that wherever we go against Premier League sides we get battered, because only 3 teams in the Premier League would batter these Italian clubs. The rest, it would be a fight. Then you win, of course, you win football games, you lose football games, but passion, and that is ultimately what football is about. So I'm saying this on the behalf of every Italian team out there. Let's show, of course, there are rivalries within Italian fan bases, but as a whole, Italian movement, Serie A football movement, let's show the world that we can compete with the likes of the Premier League. And let's not get fooled by the fact that the media is a lick-dicker of the Premier League and will forever say that Premier League teams are favoured in compared to the Serie A teams. And I think yesterday's game is another example of this. Bonipoli Archive, grazie mille per i 2,49 €. Zì, sei geniale, ti si vuole bene, forza Roma. Ti voglio bene, fra. Grazie mille per il supporto e grazie mille per i 2,49 €. I told my friends that I would rather be scared of Villa than Brighton, who have no experience and a hype coach. I think Premier League had a better mid-table teams, but that's normal because of money in the league. Yes, and yes, absolutely. But of course, Wolverhampton would beat Empoli, of course. But out of the teams that are in Europe right now, in Italy, I think they beat everybody in England apart from City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and maybe Tottenham. But Inter beats Tottenham, and as I said before, Roma right now beats Tottenham, and we need to be proud of that. I'm gonna catch you. What channel are you on tomorrow? I'm on this. It's a new channel. It's a new English channel. They've contacted me on Instagram, so I'm gonna send the link out to you guys when I am gonna go live. So yeah, I have been invited to speak about Roma. They've got a few questions to ask me. So yeah, hopefully you can catch me there tomorrow in that interview as well. Mourinho gave us insights on how to play international, just like he did in Real Madrid. Of course. You gotta respect Mourinho. I've always said this. You have to respect him because he brought us the 2 European finals. But it was the time to move on. The fact that now we're enjoying De Rossi doesn't mean that Roma fans all of a sudden hate Mourinho, because that is another illusion that the media is creating. The fact that us Roma fans are now hyping De Rossi up because of the results, it doesn't mean that we hate Mourinho. Mourinho wrote history. Now it's a new chapter. I'm a Roma fan. I'm not a Mourinho fan. Whoever sits on that bench, whoever the players are, whoever the president and the owner are, I will be there instead the Stadio Olimpico, and that's the most important thing. So De Rossi does deserve this hype and does deserve the credits because he has utterly transformed this football team. Bring it on. I'm so excited for the next game. Fiorentina match preview tomorrow, Sunday live watch along. Thank you for the support, as always. And yeah, follow me on Instagram, my private account over there. Follow Roma Theory TV on Instagram for some incredible graphics. We're moving on to Instagram as well. I said it, it's a big time to follow Roma Theory. We're expanding on Instagram as well. I've got a graphic designer. I think he's in the chat. Eric, my friend, he's creating some incredible graphics. So go follow Roma Theory TV on Instagram. Hit the like. 200 likes is the like target because this team, this manager, and all of us deserve this right now. Make sure to go watch the vlog, which went out yesterday. Great vlog, that is. So make sure to go watch that. Talk to you soon tomorrow. And yeah, love you all. See you all out. Enjoy your Friday evening. Bye bye.